Alright, let's go ahead and do the second one. This is going to be the glow that goes around our flame. So inside the hierarchy, I'm just going to go down to Create, and we'll just go down to Particle System and click on Particle System. Alright, so again, we have that same one that starts with, and actually, let's do this one. We'll do it a little bit different here. Go ahead and push delete for that one, and we'll just make a copy of this one. So we'll say Control D, and then instead of flame though, let's call this glow. Sometimes when you're working on a particle, you may find it quicker and easier is just to start, if you know they're going to be very similar, then just go ahead and start them that way. Now, I'm going to just left click and drag the glow into the flame. That way the flame is parented, so you'll be able to see both of them when you have the parent selected. So on the glow option, we're going to do a couple of different elements to it, but let's go ahead and kind of take a look at what we want to use for it. First one, on the pre-warm, let's uncheck that one. That way the flame comes first and then the glow happens after if you were to start it up. The amount of size, our size currently, we were doing, let's see, we had our start size at 1.2. Let's do this one a little bit bigger. We want to make sure that we're kind of encompassing the whole outer elements to it. So we'll do a 2 and a 2.2, yeah, somewhere around there. So we'll do a start size of 2 to a 2.2. The start speed, let's make this a little bit quicker than the one before because we want it to go a little bit further and higher than that one. Alright, and then on the rotation and the start colors, we can leave those all just the same as how they were. On the play on the wake, we'll leave it, and then also on the particles. Let's go ahead and go to our emission side, and in the emissions, we could do the same if we needed to, and or we could do it more. It just depends on how much further up it goes. It may need some extra particles to be able to see and have it look just as clean as the inside one is. So we'll double check once we get down through the rest of them to make sure. On the color over lifetime, let's go ahead and click on that one here. And for the color over lifetime inside of this one, what we do want to make sure is that we can see the other one. So I'm going to take this and actually drag it down. And what I'm looking for is actually just that halo shape. So we're going for just the little halo piece that goes around it. Alright, and then outside of it, we just want a little bit more of a purple tone. So I'm going to click on that first color right there. And actually, we'll go ahead and just delete this color. Let's double check. We may just have a solid gradient going across. So we'll click on this and just push delete. And then we'll go down to the blue and left click on color and just drag your color slider just up enough so that you're actually seeing a little bit more purplish blue rather than the solid blue that we had before. There we go. So for me, it's at 57, 50, and 255 on the RGB type. Alright. And then on the alpha on here, it just depends. For instance, let's see how it would look if we were to take it up a little higher. And we probably don't need it up as high right there. Let's see how it looks on the lower with it. Yeah, so we'll go for the location, we'll go for about 25% up as it starts to go through it. And then the alpha level of it, let's take that one. I'm going to take it down to where hopefully you can see it, is that it's just kind of a glow around it. You just get that little purple faint hint, almost like a gas type of feel to it. Alright, so we'll have that one, which that one was set at, let me go back to it here. So we had the alpha at 15, location at 25%. And then instead of being white right here, you could actually change it. We'll double check to see. May want to actually change it to a little bit more of that purple so that the white doesn't get so blown out how it was before. There we go. So we'll just kind of have that purple color start to finish right there, and then we'll have the gradient on the alpha going out on the outside. Alright. So we've got those, and the next thing is going to be our size over lifetime. Let's adjust this one a little bit differently then. And just so you can see it here, and we'll bounce back and forth between these, is that if you click on the open your editor option, you'll notice that when you open it, you'll be able to see a couple of things that you don't see in the other one. Is that with this one you can see both and adjust both, but also if I was to click on both of these and activate them, I can see that I can see both lines. Now they're in the same place at the moment, that's why you see them this way. So if I click on here, I could actually choose, for instance, this one, and we'll bring it down so you can see it right there. Alright, so we can take, I'm going to take, this is going to be the glow. I'm actually going to take this one and move it upwards. So if you notice the arc's going up and over like that. I'm actually taking it so it arcs much broader around it right there through the base. So if you were to take it lower, see how it doesn't show? And if I increase it with that handle all the way up to about there, I can get that nice little outside glow to it. Alright, and then let's go ahead and adjust for a moment here. Let's see if we can get this one on here. And we'll take I'm going to drag this down just so I can see it for a moment. And on this piece, I'm going to place one more point in here. So this is going to be our flame. We have our flame, but it's still kind of too big for the overall. So I'm going to place a keyframe right here. To place a keyframe in this view, you want to right click on the line and do add key. So I've placed one on the side. I'm going to just move this over here and up. So we'll have a straight line going up, but then all of a sudden, let's go ahead and just arc this over. So we're going to adjust this line just a bit here and kind of get a different feel for how it could be shaped. There we go. So I'm doing this one so that it stays solid and then jumps over. Might want to go a little bit outside. There we go. And then we'll pull it up back to where our 1 point was right there. There we go. So now all of a sudden we're getting a nice little glow effect around the outside of it. And then we've also got that nice little beam on the inside of it. Alright, so that's going to be pretty much it for those. That last one on the glow inside of the renderer. The only thing you would want to make sure is that that youngest first is still checked as well, which it should be since we made a copy of it. And then finally the end point of this would be just to look at it and go back and make any adjustments or corrections that you think need to be made for it. For instance, if I wanted the glow piece right here to be a little bit smaller, notice I'm just going to click on my flame color, and then inside the gradient editor I'm just dragging my alpha down a little bit further so that the top of it ends a little bit quicker right there. And we could might actually go for about a 75, maybe even a 70%. And if you notice, this is, at this point, I'm just simply making adjustments based visually on what I'm seeing so that I can try to make sure that it's going to work for it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and close this window out. And notice when you close the window out, your inspector now shows the particle system again for it. Now, the last piece on this one that I was going to show you is just the world and local for the movement. Is that if I have this one and I start to move it, let's make sure we move both together. If I have the flame selected and I move it, notice that there is no waviness to it. It's just going to stay exactly where it is. Now if you were to change the flame, or actually let's do the glow for instance. If you do the glow and you change the simulation space to world, now when you move both of them here, you're going to have the other one kind of fallen behind a little bit. If you notice, so that's part of that just kind of comes down to what is the effect you're going for. You may find that you want to have both of them. I could change the flame as well, and then when I start to move it, I'm going to get this type of motion to it. Now for a flame coming out of like a propane tank, it's usually so small, like there is going to be a waviness to it, but you may not want so much where it's like it's just constantly wiggling like that. You may want it to feel like it's a little bit stronger of a force coming out. So for me, I'm going to change mine to world and the glow back to world to local and local. Let's see, yeah. So both of those are on local right there. I'm going to reset my position to 0, 0, 0. And we have our flame and our glow connected. We'll go ahead and just left click and drag this over to our particles flame folder to create a prefab for us inside the scene. And that will finish off our flame. You can either keep your flame inside your particles or you can delete it from the hierarchy now. And that's going to be finishing off our flame.